Is limiting your communication limiting your career? I see this all the time. People say, well, I can't do this. I can't do that. I don't need this. I don't want that. I was at a large social event just last week over in Europe, and a woman who was an author, an expert, someone who conducts trainings, workshops said, oh, no, I don't give keynote speeches. That's too stuffy and formal. I have conversations and I have someone sit down with me. I sit down on stage. They ask me questions, conversation. And nothing wrong with that as a format, but why limit yourself to that? A lot of people, a lot of organizations want a speaker. They don't want to have to go hire a journalist, rearrange everything for you. What I suspect happened is it was really about this particular person's comfort zone. They had convinced themselves that the sheer act of standing up and speaking to people was somehow looking down on them and was automatically more formalistic, more structured, and less conversational. And what I didn't say, because I don't want to seem to be rude, this person was not asking me for advice, which is there is literally nothing that you can say sitting down in a conversation with someone that you can't also do standing up, just talking to people. She had put herself in a box. Now, I want to say everyone does that. I have been guilty of that. In theory, I could reach more people in the world if I were willing to do stand-up comedy, for example. But I tried it before 25 years ago, never really felt like I got to the point where it was working. Could I do it if I spent some time on it every day, performing 4 or 5 times a week, being willing to withstand boos and failures for a couple of years? Maybe I could get to the point of competency. And so I'm limiting myself too. So I don't want to seem holier than thou and saying everyone needs to be 100% like me. I'm perfect. But I do want you to think about that. I've seen this with every communication evolution. And certainly I believe it was Socrates who said, oh, people shouldn't write. As soon as you write things down, you're making it easy for your brain to become lazy. It'll destroy your memory. So even Socrates was guilty of just assuming his way of communicating through Socratic dialogue was the best way and the only way. Well, it was one way. Lucky for him, Aristotle and others wrote it down and were able to share it with people. I think the best philosophy to have in life when it comes to communication is more. Doesn't mean you have to live stream 25 hours a day sharing your expertise. But when you see more opportunities to communicate with people, try it. I remember early in my career, I would hear people at National Speakers Association. So, I'm not going to write a book. Why would someone hire me to give that same insights in a speech? I'm a speaker. Most of those, not most, all of those people are now retired or unemployed, or some of them are no longer with us. And Zig Ziglar said it best: is the more you share, the more that comes back to you. Put out a book, more speaking gigs come your way. Same with social media. People took the attitude of, why should I give it away for free on YouTube? People have to buy my DVD set. Well, how are they going to know about you? So I'm a big fan of constant experimentation. I experiment all the time. In fact, one of the things I'm experimenting with a lot lately is this use of digital clones. Is it 100% yet? No. Is mine perfect? No. Does it occasionally make mistakes and say things that are not even 100% accurate with what I'm about? Occasionally. And you know what I do? I then try to correct it. I am convinced that, and here we have it right here. It's tjwalker.ai. And I see my colleague Barb has joined us. Barb, happy that you're with us. And I know that you're You and I don't agree 100% on everything, but I'm pretty sure that you're kind of a fan of more is more too. You've always been an experimenter, whether it was with message boards in the 1970s, email, social media. You're a pioneer in the use of Facebook, communicating through community pages and groups. And I'm sure you've seen, like I have, people who say, well, I communicate this way. It's the only way I can do it, only way I want to do it. Other way, no good. That doesn't work very well. I see Karima has joined us too. Karima, glad you're here as well. Barb, wondering if you want to weigh in on this discussion today.
Well, of course, I mean, I actually worked with Zig Ziglar way back when. Met him when I was only 4 years old. So I am a firm believer in more is more for sure. And I'm so excited about where we are today with technology. And I'm looking forward. I hope I still have a seat in months to come, because it's just popping. Technology is popping right and left with new capabilities, all assisted by AI. So I'm all in on that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we want you around, not for months, but for years and decades.
Yeah.
So please don't go anywhere.
I have asked the AI if there is a fountain of youth somewhere that we haven't discovered yet. Interesting conversation. If you put that in, you'll have a lot of fun.
Well, certainly. I mean, I'm a fan of Ray Kurzweil's in his most recent book, The Singularity is Nearer. This is a guy who has been the forefront of AI since the 1960s. I mean, he was like a 14-year-old wonder boy. And he has made so many predictions over the years that almost all of them have come true. And he predicts that, if you can make it to around the year 2032, that the technology and science will be so good with nano robots inside you that you will gain an extra year of life for every year you're around, and it will get to the point of escape velocity where people can, in fact, live forever at some point. We'll leave that discussion for another day. But it is extraordinarily exciting times to be alive. The Voyager artist stops by and says hello. What's good, TJ? Good to see you. Glad you're here. If you both to Karima and Voyager artist, if you want to stop in and say hello, just I didn't put the link. It occurred to me I didn't put the link, and I can't do it while I'm doing this live. But Ben, my colleague Ben, can post the link. Then people could join us live in StreamYard. So, yeah, Karima, I apologize. We just didn't do that. I'm going to send a message right now to Ben. Ben, please post the link for people who want to join us in StreamYard today in the comments section. And I just can't do that while I'm doing everything else. But Karima, would love to have you. And Voyager artist, tell us what you're up to and what you're looking at. I see the word artist, and it reminds me of a similar problem a lot of artists have. Artists often say, well, I only paint. There's nothing wrong with painting. But sometimes you take someone who is a really good painter, but that's all they do, and the world doesn't know about them. And you look at someone else who's maybe only 70% as good of a painter, but they're willing to experiment with things like video and YouTube or Facebook or TikTok. And they're able to bring in such a large audience that now their art can be shared with the whole world in a profound way. And Ben, thanks for joining us. I forgot to put the link to StreamYard. If you can just post the link to StreamYard so that people can stop in and see us and participate with us live. Voyager artist says, is business, sales, marketing still a viable strategy given the AI age of AI? So I'm not quite sure I'm getting the exact nuance of the question, Voyager. I think that for the short term, near term, and whether that's 2 years from now or 30 years from now, the people who are most successful in business and sales and marketing will be successful because they will have learned how to use artificial intelligence better than their competitors. So short term, the old saying goes, and Ray Kurzweil says this, others do, you're not going to lose your job to AI. You're going to lose your job to someone else who knows how to use AI better than you do. And I've seen that with other information revolutions and communication revolutions. Certainly in the online training world, I kind of stumbled into it, but I mean, I always had a vision of, wouldn't I like to speak to the whole world and help people? So I got in very early to that game, 1998, lost money for 15 years, but when it really started to take off, I was positioned for it. And it took off for me, and partly by getting in early, partly by experimenting, partly by making, frankly, a lot of courses that really weren't very good that I could learn from. And now I have 250 courses, and a relatively small percentage of them have done really well, but the ones who did have done very, very well. And I've seen countless other people who said, you know what, this whole online training thing, it seems like a waste of time. I'm not going to give away that. I'm not going to give away my expertise for $10. I'm used to people paying $5,000, $10,000 a day. Those people are out of business now, a lot of them. They are retired, but not really on their own timeline, because they didn't adjust to the new mode of communication. And that's why I'm excited about this guy right here. No, not my face, and not even the robot image, but the concept of artificial intelligence as used for digital cloning so that people can communicate in one-on-one style conversations with people anywhere in the world at any time. So if you haven't tried it yet, I would recommend you go to tjwalker.ai. You can get a whole lot of use out of it for free. And you can ask questions without even stating your name or getting an email address. But if you want to talk to my video clone or the audio, then you will, in fact, need to give an email address. Karima just popped in, but she popped out. So, Karima, if you want to come back, we're more than happy to speak with you. Let me just see where we are, because the quality changes frequently on the digital clone. We're going to go to the life coaching clone a minute, and we're going to do a call. And I'll show you one way that I've been using my clone as a replacement for my old Ultimize app. I'll tell you more about that in a minute.
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. I'm here to be your life coach. Where would you like to see improvements in your life today?
Okay, so TJ, I don't really have a question, but I know you're a big fan of repetitive messaging and programming your brain to do the habits you want. So I want you to give me my my morning motivational programming, my morning programming for TJ. And I want you just to program my brain with habits I've told you that I want to practice on a regular basis. So please give me that for the next 2 minutes.
To establish a powerful routine, let's focus on building a habit that will significantly enhance your communication skills. Start by dedicating a specific time each day to practice speaking on camera. This could be as simple as recording a short video of yourself discussing a topic you're passionate about. The key here is—
Okay, so as I mentioned before, it's not necessarily linear progress every single day. Sometimes things get better, sometimes things get worse. It was much better this morning, earlier today. A few glitches right there. And I don't know if that's because I have too many extra websites open, but that was not fantastic there, although it was getting into the content I like to talk about. Karima, how are you? Thanks so much for joining us and stopping by.
Hi, sorry, I didn't realize I was on the show.
And you don't have to be, but we're happy to have you join us.
As usual. I know I've missed you all. You've been making fantastic progress, TJ. I really, I sent you a message. Actually, I probably sent it twice on two different platforms. Before I forget, I just wanted to say hello, Barbara. Haven't talked to you in ages, and it's nice to hear your voice. I hope she can hear me.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I
TJ,
believe
I
your mic
was.
is off now, but thanks so much for stopping by. Tell us what you're working on and what's new with you.
I'm going to have a big launch coming up shortly. I've been working. It's to do with AI. It's to do with hang on, I'm not doing so. I'm not doing so well. Actually, how am I going to explain it? Basically,
What problem does it solve? What is the thing you're focusing on that helps people?
that it will make me a lot of money, and
That's what helps you. But the one thing I've learned over the years is customers, prospects, the world, they don't care about making me money. I can make money, but I have to solve their problem first, and then
you're right.
it'll
You're
come
right.
to me. So what problem are you solving for other people that's valuable to them?
Basically, I'm building tools that okay, for example, suppose you have a whole pile of things that you've bought from Amazon. And when I say a whole pile, I mean like maybe you have bought thousands of different items, and so you have hundreds of different emails all mixed up together. So I'm writing developing tools. That's the word, the proper word. Developing tools to help people go through whatever problem that it is, to solve things that used to take a long time, like going through all those emails, pulling out the order numbers, pulling out the photographs, and making the video to go with them, and linking all the data together.
Are you
And
talking
just
about are you talking about someone who has a store and they are selling 100 products on Amazon, or who is your target customer for this?
The businesses. This is for business to business. It's for business customers. I'm also going to be offering some white label software. So, and I know what the overall thing is. It's an AI consultancy and marketing thing that where we actually build the tools for the people.
Okay. Well, we wish you luck in that venture. And will you be? Let me ask you: will you be using? If someone comes to your website and wants to know about it, and you're asleep, are they going to be able to talk to either a video or an audio clone of you where you can answer their questions?
Actually, that's what I'm doing. I am building clones for people, except they're not fully. They're not the level of clone that your clone is. It's and they're more than just a chat bot. But if I wasn't planning to come on at all, you said, and I wanted to say to you that you had done so well with your new website with the clone. I'm really looking forward to having time to study it.
Well, thanks. Please go back and try it regularly. I guess I'm curious though, if you're going to be a consulting firm in AI and it's such a new field, why do you want to limit yourself to stuff that people were doing, 10 years ago? Because the idea of having a cloned chatbot has been around a long time. What's relatively new is having an audio and a video version that's completely interactive. So a prospect, if I own a jewelry store and I manufacture, I may represent Tiffany and 10 other brands, but if I also manufacture a unique combination of 100 different necklaces that I've designed, and I want to get that on Amazon. I want to use AI effectively. And I'm calling you from the West Coast of New York, or excuse me, the West Coast of the United States, 6 p.m. my time, and you're asleep. Why wouldn't you want me as a prospect to talk to you or someone for your company where I could ask questions and I see what seems to be a real person talking to me? Because again, I personally know nothing about technology. All I know how to do is to type and click. That's the extent of my tech skills. But I put together this audio video clone just because I found a platform that does it for me. So why wouldn't you at least use the most recent AI technology that's off the rack?
I am using the most recent technology. I'm so exhausted because I haven't slept since the night before last because I was working all night.
Oh no.
I didn't even go to bed. So that's probably why I'm not communicating very well, because my brain is not, it's not firing on all cylinders. And I've got another meeting I have to go to after this. So
well, we appreciate you stopping by. That does point out one of the huge advantages of a digital clone. It doesn't need sleep, because last week there were actually 2 nights where I got no sleep because I had to have 4 flights and a few trains to get from Phoenix, Arizona to Stresa, Italy.
Yes, I saw the pictures at the wedding.
Thank you for commenting. And no sleep. So I was not that articulate. That's the beauty of the digital clone. Is my digital clone, other than the little glitch you just saw a moment ago, it's always articulate and it needs no rest. Siraj just writes in and says, "Hi, Walker. It was mind-blowing to see your clone. I know this is still new. Can you send a link to your clone?" Well, Siraj, the easiest way to do it is just go to tjwalker.ai. Once you're on there, it's going to give you an option. Do you want to go to the clone for communication skills, the clone that will help you with your job interview skills, the clone for media training, although we might be shifting that, a clone for life coaching, and then one just for support and information? You can then, once you click on that page, you know what, rather than me telling you, let me just walk you through it. So again, the easiest way to access my clone is just type in tjwalker.ai. Once you're doing that, you can sort of scroll down, and depending on if you want communication skills, life coaching, job interview, media training, or support. So let's say you wanted to help getting more confidence in your communication skills. You click that. You then have an option of making a video call, a chat, or a live call. So with the video, you just click it. It will ask you for an email if you haven't been on before, if you want the video. You don't have to give any email if you just want to do a text question. And then you just click it, and it goes right there. Now, one area where I'm going to click back a minute. One area where we're not 100% yet is the integration. And I say that like I really know what it means, like I'm a tech guy. I'm really not. But one of the things that we don't have yet is, if you're on my website and you do a call, you only get English. There's no way of switching languages.
One of the things I'm working on, you can do it in 29 languages, but it costs more.
I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you communicate more effectively?
So that's if you're on my website. Now, if you go to where it's actually housed on Delphi and you hit call, you see on the top right, you have an option. Spanish, Russian. I mean, there's 30 some languages here.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible.
And what's interesting to me is that sometimes the foreign language person sounds just like me. Other times it sounds generic. So there's
Yeah,
still,
like the Mandarin man.
yeah, there's, I mean, the Mandarin has been tested in my own household because my wife is fluent in Mandarin, and she says, well, it actually sounds pretty good. The first few months, it sounded awful. So
Okay.
let's try the
You're
Spanish one
you're
a second.
giving me hope.
Hold on one second, Karima.
Sorry.
Hola, soy el clon de TJ. ¿Cómo puedo ayudarte?
Hola, señor. Mi problema es no tengo conferencia. ¿Por qué?
Entiendo que te sientes confundido sobre la razón detrás de tu problema. A menudo la falta de claridad puede ser frustrante. ¿Podrías darme más detalles sobre la situación específica que te preocupa? Así podré ayudarte mejor a encontrar una solución.
So I have no idea what was said, but I've been told that, TJ, it's not perfect, but you're at between 70 and 90%, certainly a lot better than nothing. Certainly
Does
better
he
than
speak
me.
Arabic?
Well, let's just
Do you
take a
have-
look. Let's just take a look. You tell me.
مرحبا، أنا نسخة من TJ. كيف يمكنني مساعدك؟
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
But
so what did it
it's
say?
it's too fast. It's a lot.
Real
It's
fast. Yeah. And I have heard that as a common criticism. Let's try, since I know just a couple of words of Korean, we'll try Korean now.
안녕하세요. 저는 TJ의 클론입니다. 어떻게 도와드릴까요?
안녕하세요, TJ. 감사합니다.
안녕하세요. 만나서 반갑습니다. 오늘 어떤 주제로 이야기하고 싶으신가요? 커뮤니케이션 스킬이나 개인 발전에 대해 궁금한 점이 있으시면 언제든지 말씀해 주세요. 함께 목표를 향해 나가봅시다.
So I don't know how good that is, but I can tell you it's a billion times better than if I had tried to say it myself. And that's what's exciting. Let's go to a quick comment from Voyager. This brings a problem of standing out in the marketplace. How do we build a purple cow, a remarkable thing? I work in teaching computer programming, and I play a mean piece of guitar. How to make wow. So those are great skill sets you have if you can merge those together, Voyager. Purple cow, the author Seth Godin made famous. He wrote a whole book on the purple cow, which is how you see 1,000 cows, they all look brown and white, or white and black. They all look the same. You can't pick out one from the other. If you saw one purple cow within 1,000 cows in a pasture, that would jump out. So much of successful marketing is standing out, being different, which is frankly what I'm trying to do now with my digital clone, because as far as I can tell, I don't know of any other communications consultant and communications expert doing a digital clone, and it's about communication. So I'm trying to stand out that way. And that's why I'm spending so much time and energy and effort on that, as opposed to just trying to make small incremental improvements to my YouTube videos, because there's already millions of people making videos on YouTube about how to communicate effectively. So I'm trying to be that purple cow in this space, Voyager. You mentioned that you have expertise in computer programming as well as playing the guitar. So, Kareem, I want your advice to Voyager in just a moment as well. But my advice.
I just wanted to say hello to him, and that we have very similar backgrounds, because music and computer science are in my background too. And I'm a student of TJ's as well. So hello.
Great. It's always good to foster more connections with our among our community here. That's great. So when I look at how musicians take off these days, I think of someone like a Justin Bieber, where my understanding is, unknown kid, small town in Canada, no connections with the music industry. It's not like his uncle was the head of a major music label. He started playing, and I think it's an instrument, and singing. And he was very methodical about it. He would do someone else's song one week, a cover, and the next week he would do his own song. And
Mm.
when you do someone else's song, people are already familiar with that. That brings some people in and they stay around. They'll watch the next one and it's your song. And you can sort of wean people into your world and they can learn more about you. And he did that enough, and the audience ratcheted up more and more and more until there was a point where there was enough demand from people to hear his music. And when you have a big enough following, then you don't have to worry about chasing record albums. They're chasing you. You don't have to worry about getting booked at a small venue. The big venues want you. Everything comes together, and he's certainly not the only one who's done that. Now, Taylor Swift also, I mean, she was performing at a young age in real world venues, but also my understanding was quite adroit in her use of social media early in her career too, and still is for that matter. So I would ask you, think about how you can use your computer programming to perhaps create the world's first digital clone instructor teaching you how to play the guitar. If you can be the first person to use a digital clone that people can access to know how to play the guitar, you might really be onto something, because there's already a gazillion YouTube channels on how to play the guitar. There's a lot of courses. And what you could do, I don't know if it's there yet, but you need to be able to your clone could, in theory, look at people's placement of their fingers on the guitar and give feedback. That's something people would pay for in a way that's so much more powerful than just watching a video. Let me give you a quick demonstration of that as it relates to my field, because I work in a field that's very visual in nature, presentation skills. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about, the visual aspect and how it could apply to you as a good guitar player. So I'm going to go into my clone. I'm going to hit the video, and hang on one second. Okay, so I'm going to hit the video a minute, and I'm going to show you why I'm doing it in just a moment. But I've got to get a prop. Sorry.
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you communicate more effectively?
Hi, TJ. Yes, what is your feedback? I am doing a job interview. I want to know what you think of how I'm dressed. I'm going for an interview at a bank, and I want to look like a senior manager who looks very respectable and traditional. Wonder if you can give me feedback on what I'm wearing.
Your attire is spot on for a tradition, while the vibrant lighting in your background adds a contemporary flair. This combination is perfect for engaging with a tech-savvy audience or in a professional video call. How do you feel about the overall setup in your presence?
Wait a second, TJ. What do you see me wearing right now?
It looks like your attire is a great blend of professionalism and a touch of personal style with the cap. The suit jacket and light blue shirt.
Oh, so you do see what I'm wearing here. You do see what I'm wearing on the top of my head. What is it and what color is it?
You're wearing a cap on your head, and it complements your suit jacket and light blue shirt nicely.
Well,
the cap adds
I think you're being a little charitable. I think it looks silly for me to be in a job interview wearing a baseball hat. So in the past, I'm going to give you low marks for that, because in the past you have told me maybe not professional looking. Now, I like to be seen as super cool all the time, but I am going to a very traditional bank for an interview as a senior level manager. What do you think of what I'm wearing now? What do you see me wearing, and what do you think of it?
Your current look, your current attire, with the suit jacket and light blue shirt, strikes a balance between professionalism and personal flair, especially with the cap. This look is quite engaging.
Oh, wait, I'm not wearing a cap anymore. I need you to take another look. What do you think of what I'm wearing right now? What do you see on my face? Because I'm not wearing a hat. What do you see me wearing? And does this seem appropriate for an indoor interview?
your current look with you're wearing a suit jacket, a light blue shirt, and a cap. For a senior level interview at a
Okay,
traditional
so
bank,
this is a glitch because I've noticed before it was able to see what I was doing. It takes snapshot images. We're going to try it again because, and forgive me for a moment. It is summer. It's hot. I didn't mean to flash my legs to you in a minute, but it switched cameras. I didn't realize that. So yes, I am wearing shorts, and I'd taken off this camera, but I forgot when I switched to the clone. The clone takes a feed from another camera. So I'll tell you why I'm wearing my glasses in just a moment. But let's see it. For some reason, it did not filter in the right way a moment ago. So I'm going to share the screen. Hi, TJ. I want to get your feedback on what I'm wearing because I do have a job interview at a very traditional bank later today. And I wanted you to give me feedback on how I'm dressed, what I'm wearing, what I have on my face. What do you see?
Your setup looks quite polished with the suit, and in a very traditional setting, especially in a professional environment like a bank, it's crucial to align your appearance with the expectations of that culture. While your suit and setup convey professionalism, the sunglasses might be a bit too casual for such an environment. Consider removing them to ensure your presentation aligns.
That's
with the
excellent
traditional
advice,
expectations.
TJ. I am going to take off my sunglasses. Okay, TJ, sometimes I get nervous when I'm speaking, and without realizing it, I find myself touching my face a lot. Can you see what I'm doing? And will anyone notice this? Will this help or hurt the perception that I'm a confident person? What do you see me doing, and what would be your advice?
Your setup is quite professional with the suit and the well-organized background. However, the sunglasses might be sending a more casual signal, which
Okay.
could detract from the perception
So
of
that's
anxiety by
interesting. Yeah, that's one step backward, just so you know. So what I noticed each time in the past, if I changed something within a call, it would give me feedback. Today, for whatever reason, it's taking a snapshot, a picture from the beginning of the call, and it's not updating it. So it's only giving me analysis of what I did initially. Because in the past, I could switch from the glasses to tapping my nose. It can't tell that I'm tapping my nose. It doesn't see motion yet, but it would in fact see that my finger's on my nose and would say that can look distracting. That can look like you're nervous. So as I mentioned, this is an early stage technology. It's not a simple stair step up, 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 better every day. It's two steps forward, one step back sometimes, which we've seen today. So Voyager, I hope I gave you some insights or help there. I'd like to know what are you doing? Here's the big question. What are you doing that's different from what your competitors are doing? I mean, that's the essence of the purple cow. It's not that you literally have to paint yourself purple. It's that you have to be different. The world is full of computer science experts. The world is full of people who are pretty good at playing the guitar. The world is not full of people who really combine those two skills in a way that stand out as different. And that is the challenge, I believe. I'm going to have to sign off. We're out of our time today. But Barb, any final comments from you? Appreciate you stopping by as always. And Karima, after Barb has a chance, any last thing from you? And Barb may have. There you are, Barb. Go ahead.
Sorry, I've been behind the scenes as usual, trying to see if we can get things to cooperate on Facebook. Very interesting conversation today, and in the theme of whether our communication skills are limiting our careers, I firmly believe that it all gets down to our own attitudes. We're allowing them to limit us. And we're in a great time. It's a fantastic time to be alive and being able to test these new tools that we can use with the assistance of AI. So
Mhm.
I'm just excited. I'm going to go back and play with all my tech toys.
Great, Barb. And Barb, thank you for reminding me the original context for this conversation today, which is, are we really limiting our success in our career by limiting communication? Because I've seen throughout my career, people tell themselves, well, I can speak to small groups, but I can't possibly speak to large groups. Well, and if you can have one interesting conversation with one person at any point in your life, you have all the skills you need to speak in front of 1,000 people.
Yes.
It's really not that hard. And yet people put themselves into boxes. And that's the frustration I felt with this colleague I met last week over at this event in Europe, which is she had just told herself that she couldn't be a public speaker standing up in front of people, that she had to be in this situation where she's sitting down at a couch and someone's asking her nice questions. Well, there's nothing wrong with talking that way. But in my mind, that's kind of the lazy person's way of public speaking. And you see that if someone wants to invite Warren Buffett or certain famous people, they'll do it that way because it's easier for the speaker. But Warren Buffett's got a lot of successes going on. He doesn't need to be giving a speech. So if someone wants to make it easier for him, fine. But for most of us who are not in quite as much demand as Warren Buffett, and I'm one of them, why don't we make it easy for other people to share our expertise or to gain from our expertise? So that's why I am in favor of, don't put yourself in a box and say, I can't do a keynote speech, or I can't stand up in front of people, or I can't speak to large audiences, or I can't speak on video. I see countless times people say, well, I'm a writer, but I don't have a face for TV or video. I don't have a voice for podcasting. All nonsense. All complete nonsense. Yes, if you want to be a matinee idol and be in the romantic comedies that are dominating the multiplex on Friday night that appeals to teenagers, being very good looking in a conventional way is important. Guess what? That doesn't apply to almost anyone. For everyone else who's in the business world or has some area of expertise, nobody cares what you look like. I'll get to you in one last second, Kareem, and we'll give you the last word. I mean, believe me, I have my own family members saying, hey, TJ, you're losing your hair, you're getting wrinkles, you're beady-eyed, you're getting a double chin. If I listen to that, I could easily convince myself, well, I should just write books. I'm too old to be on video now. Nobody cares. And I'm able to be, I don't think I'm being too humble or too bragging to say, I've been very successful speaking to people in front of a camera and getting well paid for it. It's not because I waited until I had perfect looks. And I don't think you should wait either. I don't think anyone else should wait. If you've got ideas that can help other people or interest other people, look for every opportunity you can to communicate. Karima, final words.
I learned something very valuable in the last 10 or 15 minutes, and that is I need to go to the clone and practice, get it to ask me questions like you asked me, because I can't answer them if I haven't taught my way through them first, because I get lost in the nuts and the bolts. And if a question that I'm not expecting comes at me and I'm focusing my mind somewhere else, so I need to practice, I need to talk to the clone, and that's a great lesson for me today.
And without me appearing to be too self-serving, if I could just point out as a practice tool, you could do a whole practice interview or a whole session with a prospective client. When you're using my clone, it records it. As you see right here, there's a button, view instant replay and share. So you can actually watch the conversation you just
TJ's
had.
Clone, how may I help you communicate more effectively?
Right.
Feedback on what I'm wearing, because I do. So that's a great extra feature that it provides. Yeah. So you can if you look at a clone as just a way of answering questions, I don't think that's particularly valuable. People can go to Quora, they can go to Wikipedia and get a question answered. but the experience of actually rehearsing a speech or a
Yes.
meeting interview, and then being able to watch yourself, and then
Mhm.
hearing specific feedback from an expert, that's where I think the real value is. You know, the challenge for me is communicating that to people, because people still think of it, it's, oh, I can just answer a question. In fact, most people come on to the clone and ask a question, and they think, oh, that answer's not bad. That's less than 1% of the value of it. So that's part of my own communication challenge. So thanks
Yeah.
so much for bringing that up, Karima. Barb, thanks for stopping by. Special thanks to the Voyager artist and Siraj and others for stopping by today. I'm TJ Walker. See you next time.